Alright guys, so we just finished our first example, so now we're going to move on to our second example. So once again, we are going to go to our table, and we're going to press the clear button to clear everything out, and we're going to type it exactly as we see it. So we have parentheses, the n divided by d button, and then 1, go down, 4, and then move it over, in parentheses, and then this button again, and then our X, okay? And then we can move it over, and then enter, 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 and my calculator just died on me. Hold on. Well, this sometimes works. There we go. Alrighty, so going back to table, and 1 over 4 to the X, okay, enter, enter, enter. It does not like this function. Hold please. Alrighty, I have just grabbed a new calculator and I am scrolling to check out my x's. Obviously these are too big. Let's see, and then they get to be too small. So we're going to start out just writing down our table of -2, 16. So we have our x and our y, so -2, +16, -1, 4, 0, 1, and then we can scroll down for 1 1/4, which is 1.25, and then our 2 is 1/16, which is 0.0625. Okay, and now we're done with our calculator. So now we can go ahead and graph these points. So we have -2, 16, which is obviously too tall. So we can do -1, 4. We can do 0, 1, we can do 1.25, and another really close one right there. Okay? Alright, and what's my asymptote? That's right, it's 0 again, because we have the 0 there. Alrighty, so now we can draw our asymptote, and we can connect our dots. Let me do it in a different color though. Make sure that we can still see our dots. Alrighty, so now that we've made our table of values and we've drawn our asymptote and our dots, is this function growth or decay? This time it is decay because we are decreasing. And our b value is now less than 1. Because what's my b value? My b value is 1/4. It's a fraction. Okay? So then, what's my domain? All real numbers. And then my range. Remember, that deals with our y value and our asymptote, which we said was 0. And then, is our graph above or below our asymptote? It's above, so y is greater than 0. What's my y-intercept? It's going to be 0, 1, because again, we look for where it crosses our y-axis, or we can look here. And so then 1 is our y-intercept. Awesome. Okay, and it doesn't list it down here because I think it got cut off, but let's just do it for fun. What's my asymptote? Y equals 0. Awesome. Good job, guys. So then let's move on to our next problem. Okay, so now we have 3 to the x minus 1. Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So once again, we are going to go to our calculator. Can you see our calculator okay? We're going to go to table. We're going to clear all that out. And we're going to press 3 and then to the x. And I know you guys can't see my calculator this time, but hopefully you guys have understood the calculator portion. Okay? And then we're going to press enter, 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 enter. And so we're going to scroll. Okay, so -1 is a great starting point. So we have our x and our y. So -1, and we have -2/3, which is -0.67. And then 0, 0. And then 1, 2. And then 2, 8. And 3, 26. Alrighty. Again, it does not really matter that it won't fit on our graph, just so long as we did what we were supposed to. Okay. Alrighty. So now we are going to graph, and we start at -1, -6.7, which is about right there, and then 0, 0. And then 1, 2, and then 2, 8, and then 3, 26 is too big, so we can't graph that one. So now, what is my asymptote? My asymptote is -1, because this, whoops, my hand is all up in the way, because this value is our asymptote. Okay? Alrighty. And so now we can connect our dots. And get it really close to a line. There we go. So do I have a growth or decay? I have a growth. Good. Because we are increasing. And what's my b value? My b value is 3, so that's a whole number, so it's greater than 1. And then what's my domain? It is all real numbers. What's my range? Remember, it has to do with our y and our asymptote. What's our asymptote? It's -1. So is my graph above or below my asymptote? It's above. What's my y-intercept? This time it's 0. Oops, my hand's in the way again. Alrighty. And then we said our asymptote was -1. So y equals -1. And I'm actually going to add something down here called a shift. So on our previous side, we were looking at our A, our B, our H, and our K. We said that our H was our horizontal shift and our K was our vertical shift. Okay, so on this side actually. Over here, so H was our horizontal shift, K was our vertical shift. And remember, K is our asymptote, right there, okay? So our vertical shift moves things up and down. So vertical means up and down, okay? So if our asymptote is -1, so our vertical shift is -1, then that means that our shift is going to be down 1. Are you okay with that? Because if we did not have this number here, if it was just 3 to the x, our asymptote would have been at 0. Now that our asymptote is at -1, we have taken our graph and we've moved it down 1 space. So that is why our shift is down 1. Okay? Alrighty. Now we can do number 4. So number 4 says y equals 1/3 to the x plus 4. So we're going to type that into our table. So we have, whoops, let's press this button first, 1/3 to the x, and then moving it over, plus 4. Press start a whole bunch of times. Oh my goodness, look at these fractions. So I'm going to move up a little bit. And so I guess I'll start at -2. So our x is -2, which means our y is 13, -1, 7, 0, 5, and then 13/3, which is actually 4.333. And then we'll do one more, 2, and that is 4.11. Alrighty, so now we have those. What's my asymptote this time? My asymptote is 4. So that means that I'm going to move my graph up 4. So we have -2, 13, which is obviously too big, but we have -1, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 0, 5, which is right here. And then our other 2 points get really, really close to our line, but never actually touch it. And then we can graph it, connect our dots. Alrighty. So do I have a growth or decay? I have decay because we are decreasing. And my b is a fraction, so that means that it's less than 1. Whoops, sorry guys. Alright, what's my domain? Y'all should be getting pretty good at domain at this point. It's all real numbers. And then my range deals with our y and our asymptote. And then since my graph is above my asymptote, y is greater than. My y-intercept is where x equals 0. So that is y equals 5. Sorry, that's another way to write it. You can also do 0, 5. And then our asymptote, we said was 4, so that's y equals 4. And then let's do our shift. So since our asymptote was 4, we are now a positive 4. We are going to shift up 4. Okay? So whatever this number is, that is our shift of up or down. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're moving on to number 5. There we go. Move this back a little bit. Doop, doop. Sorry guys, taking a moment to get situated. Okay, so once again, we type it into our our calculator. So this time, what we want to do is we want to write the 1/4 first, and then we're going to put parentheses around our 2. Okay? And then we're going to do to the x. I know it doesn't show that on your paper for this one, but this is how you want to type it into your calculator. Alrighty, so then we're going to press enter a whole bunch of times. Alrighty, and so we can do 0 to the 1/4. Always want to include your x value of 0. So 0, 1/4 is 0.25. And then 1/1/2 is 0.5. And then we have 2, 1. And 3, 2. And 4, 4. Okay. And you can keep scrolling and you get 5, 8, and then 6, 16, just so you know that it does continue on. But that's enough for now. Okay, so our asymptote is at what? It's at 0, because there is nothing added or subtracted. So we can put plus 0 there. Alrighty, so we have 0.25, which is about right there, and then 1.5 is about right there, and then 2, 1 is right there, and then 3, 2, right here, 4, 4 is right there. And then we can connect our dots. Good. And so do we have growth or decay? We have a growth because we are increasing, and my b value is a what? B value is a whole number. It's 2 this time. Okay? Because remember, our general form is y equals a times b to the x minus h plus k. All right. So then what's my domain? All real numbers. What's my range? Y is greater than 0. My y-intercept this time is 0.25. My asymptote is y equals 0. And my shift is none. Alrighty. Alright, last one on this page. You guys ready for it? Sure you are. Okay. So once again, go to our table, and we have 5 parentheses, 1 over 2, in parentheses, to the x, gotta move it over, minus 3. Okay? And then we can press enter a whole bunch of times. And those are pretty big fractions, so let's move another direction. Okay, so let's start at negative 217. And then negative 1, 7. And then 0, 2. And then 1, negative 1/2. So negative 0.5. And then 2, negative 1.75. And then I'm going to do one more for 3, negative 2.375. Alrighty, so don't need that anymore. And now we can plot them. So negative 217 is too big, but negative 17 is just fine, and then 0, 2. And then that was negative 0.5, wasn't it? And then 2, negative 1.75. And then we have negative 2, 3.75. And then our asymptote this time is at negative 3. So then we can just draw our line. Good. Alrighty, and do we have growth or decay? This time we have decay because we are decreasing, and our b value is less than 1. It's a fraction this time. Alrighty, what's my domain? All real numbers. My range is y, my asymptote is negative 3, and since my graph is above, y is greater than negative 3. My y-intercept is 0, 2. My asymptote is y equals -3. And then my shift, what do you guys think? Is down 3. Good. Alrighty, so that was the front page of your notes. So, I want you guys to work on Delta Math. Alrighty, good luck guys.